Hello and welcome back to Romanticizing the Podcast. Happy 2026. I haven't been here in so long, last year, which is not as telling because it's January, but this is one of my things to come back to in 2026 because I was so excited to start this in 2023 and quite frankly have not uploaded as many episodes as I would have liked. But we're doing it slow and steady, somewhat steady, not really steady, but I'm trying my best. And I'm actually really excited to record today because I've been meaning to for a long while, but I've been feeling a bit uninspired and unsure of what I should talk about because who am I to be having a podcast? But then again, everybody has valuable life experience that can be helpful to be heard by others. And all in all, this is just a podcast about me trying to romanticize life. So this is me romanticizing my life in 2026. And today we're going to talk about a very special topic. Oh my god, I just realized, I just saw on my iPad that this recording message is number 26, which is so fitting because today I want to do an episode with 26 things to do instead of being on your phone in 2026. That's quite a mouthful, but I think it's really helpful because social media has been something that I have been enjoying being on and connecting to people and seeing what's out there because it's such a unique place to meet different people from all over the world and seeing other people's lives. But I think the actual goal has shifted because in the beginning social media was a meeting place, connecting, being social, but now it felt more like being an observer to people showing off their lives and shoving items and like capitalism down your throat because everyone was advertising something, and it was just getting you to interact more and more and spending more time on social media. So I've had lots of thoughts on social media and I've talked about it with so many friends and family, and over the years I've had different views and I've used it different amounts and different apps, and I've always been an advocate for the good and positives of social media, which I know there are some, but I came to a point where I was feeling like it was using me more than I was using it. And I didn't want to be a tool and I didn't want to give up control like that. I just didn't want that to happen anymore. So last year, I actually don't remember when exactly it was. I think at the latest in March, I had given up social media. And last year, that really shifted a lot for me. In the beginning, it was obviously weird because I have had social media since I got a smartphone, and that was when I was 13. So last year, when I quit social media, I was 22. That means about 9 years of my life, which is crazy to say out loud, I've been using social media, and obviously that was different when I was 13 because Instagram just looked different, and that was the only thing that I had access to, and I only used it to post photos occasionally, and I had a few friends on there that I saw. But then the layout changed, new features appeared. I sometimes started posting more when I had the time to because I thought it was fun and I was expressing myself, which I was. And then I found different people on there, influencers or content creators that I felt inspired by. Some of them I still follow on YouTube, which is different because it's long form content. I'm going to talk about that later. But I'm grateful for that, obviously, because I found people that inspire me and I found people that I connected to. But then over the years, everything like started shifting. TikTok got introduced. I have to say, I did not jump on every trend with social media apps. I didn't use Snapchat. I didn't use the other platform that was not TikTok. That was never in my bandwidth. But Instagram was my platform and I loved it for so long. Then when COVID hit, I kind of also downloaded TikTok and I was not 100% convinced at first. Then I kind of really got into it and I thought it was so cool to have a platform that's not surrounded on who you're following, but your like For You page is curated especially for you. And I think that was always the secret ingredient behind TikTok success. I used that platform for a while, just looking at videos and also creating some because I liked documenting my life and sharing like funny bits and stories, but it was never like anything big for me. Although I do have to say, overall, I probably spent a fair amount of my time on TikTok and Instagram, and when I quit it, it was weird because I've always done social media cleanses for a while, or every Sunday I did not go on social media. That was a day that I had off, so to say, which is already kind of telling because it's not a job, but it feels exhausting to be on social media, at least in my experience. So when I quit social media, it was at first like just redirecting my thumb when I was on my phone and not having the thought of, oh, I have a little bit of free time or I'm waiting for something, I'm gonna go on Instagram and see what everyone's up to. And then the longer it went on, the more I realized how much time I had spent on social media and how many times in the day I reached for my phone with the intention of going on social media, and not even just the amount of times, but realizing, oh, probably when I clicked on Instagram or TikTok, I wasn't just on there for a minute or two. I scrolled because that is the intention of it. You should doom scroll. That's honestly how it's designed nowadays. So I just felt this overwhelming sadness and regret of how much time I had spent on social media. Then that transformed into joy and seeing how much time I have now to explore other things. And I think overall 2025 was a very transformative year for me, which I would be happy to talk more about, especially like with my mental health and my physical health and everything. But social media falling out of the picture was for me the best thing that could have happened. Honestly, it wasn't falling out of the picture. I quit social media, which is a big deal. And I know that it's kind of annoying sometimes to hear people talk about it, but I'm assuming if you're listening to this and still listening to this, you're somewhat interested. So at first, or like to start off the episode after this long rambling, I thought I could read a journal entry that I wrote on September 5th. So I would say roughly a little bit over 6 months after I deleted social media. This is my thoughts on quitting social media in September 2025. My days have felt longer since experiencing them more presently. When I'm not rushing from one thing to the next or spending hours on my phone, I feel more connected to myself and childhood again. When I deleted my social media 6 months ago or so, I felt sad for all the time I had spent on it. So many hours in the day I spent scrolling through other people's lives. I've always been a firm believer that social media can be a very positive as well, but in the way we've been grown accustomed to it, it is controlling our lives. Yes, it has also helped me learn, meet people, connect, laugh, or cheer me up, but as with so many things, it only feels important when you are in it. Once you are out of the bubble, it no longer matters and you start to figure out what actually matters to you again. Coming down from the social media high feels weird and can be hard. I've noticed going on other platforms like Pinterest because I'm so used to scrolling. And every time I recognize a pattern, I make myself aware of it. I do not want to be controlled by subconscious habits anymore. I mourned for the time I had lost. When you're 80 years old, looking back at your life, you will not remember the things you saw on social media. Right now, you probably don't remember what you saw on there last week, but you will remember the hobbies you had outside of your phone. You'll remember the paintings you did, the songs you listened to, the board games you played, the books you read, the laughter you shared. You'll remember filling your life with real things, not looking through your phone and feeling empty inside. The average person lives 80 years. 80 summers, falls, winters, and springs. 80 birthdays and New Year's Eves. Imagine spending 5 hours on your phone every day. That equals up to almost 17 years of your life. Granted, as a toddler, you probably didn't have a phone, but even 10 or 15 years of your life spent on a display. I'm no stranger to using my phone and other devices. I still struggle with cutting down my screen time, but it is worth it. It might feel weird at first. I will feel out of the loop, but I find joy in that. I find joy in not knowing what everyone is up to and figuring out ways to fill my newfound time. Being present, having more hobbies, being bored again. When was the last time you felt bored? As a kid, I remember so often telling my mother that I was bored, and she'd tell me that this is a good thing. I didn't believe her, but she helped me come up with things I could do. Go outside, help her play with the animals, do something crafty, read, learn something new, rest. When was the last time you had the privilege of being bored? Because it is a privilege. In times of stressful work environments, crisis in almost every corner of the world, and the constant need of checking our phones, slowing down and letting the virtual world just be is an act of rebellion. Giving yourself the time and space to be bored is brave. Quitting social media might seem extensive, but I've done little cleanses before, and while they have worked, I've never felt as free or reconnected to myself as I have since being more offline. So quit scrolling, go outside, let yourself be bored, and find hobbies that aren't being on your phone. It brings you back a lot of life. So that was 6 months of my journey of quitting social media, thoughts on that, and now it's been even longer. And I thought I could curate a list of things that I have done in the time that I'm not on social media anymore, and things to do instead of being on your phone, replacing your screen time. Obviously, I'm still on my phone for other reasons. I do Duolingo on my phone, and I talk to my friends and long distance friendships, family on there, and obviously my screen time is still existing. Like, I'm not using a screen. I also watch movies, TV shows, etc. But still, it's very different than being on social media because it's communicating with actual people you know in real life, or it's long form content or educating yourself. It's just different. But I wrote down things that I thought of that you could do instead of being on your phone if you want to give it a try. So the first thing I wrote down is journal, because I think everyone should journal, just like I think everyone should go to therapy. But journaling is just a way of getting your thoughts out on paper, and a lot of the time it makes your mind feel more free and calm. And it's just been one of the best things that I started doing when I was a kid. I think I really started journaling when I was 12. And I have stacks and stacks of journals to go through every little part of my life since I was a teenager, which is kind of cool and crazy, but it's free therapy for me. I literally could not do life without it. And even if you're confused of how you could journal or get into it, there are so many journal prompts that you can look up. Or honestly, sometimes if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just start listing what I did in the day, and then the thoughts just keep rolling out, and I just write and write until I can't anymore. And then also, I had the 6-minute journal for a few years, and now I know what 3 things you write down in the morning and what 3 things you write down at night. It's like split up, so you just spend a little bit in the morning, a little bit at night, writing down that, and it's like what you're grateful for, what you want to happen today, a good affirmation, and then one thing you did for someone else, something you can do better tomorrow, and then 3 things that were nice that happened that day. And I incorporated that into my journaling time as well, because it just makes me feel so much more grateful and present. The second thing that I wrote down is talk to a friend, because a lot of the time I think we also rely on social media to see what our friends are up to, because obviously a lot of social media is now dominated by influencers and content creators, but still you usually follow a lot of people or acquaintances, friends that you have in your life, and then you see, oh, your friend's doing this today or your friend's doing that today, and you don't feel the need to text them, hey, how are you doing, what is everything okay, because you saw them on social media but you actually didn't really see them, you didn't interact with them. So I think talking to a friend is always a good idea, strengthening your friendships and just interacting and sharing honest thoughts. Then I think everybody can benefit from this, learning something new, because everybody kind of like has mixed feelings about school, and I even feel like the word learning in German is kind of sometimes triggering for me, because I have negative connotations with it. But learning something new is actually so amazing for your brain and just for yourself. You could watch a documentary, watch a video essay, read a book, anything. If you have any topic that you felt interested in, and you think, oh, I would like to know more about something that has to do with that, do it. You literally have the whole knowledge of the world at your fingertips. You can go to a library, you can buy a book, you can watch a video essay online, you can watch a documentary. If it's long form content, it's good for you and you're educating yourself, so do that. I want to do that even more this year. Then also try playing an instrument. I know not everybody is musically gifted, and I am not very good at playing instruments. I love singing and I love dancing, but instruments are something that I've never felt good at and that scare me. I've been wanting to play the guitar and learn how to play the guitar for so long, and I had one sitting in my room, but I just struggle with it so much that I have not been wanting to pick it up and try it. But then in November or October, I thought, okay, if not the guitar, I'll start with something else, and then I started doing piano tutorials on YouTube, and it's actually so fun. I'm not good at it, but it calms my mind, it gives me some creative outlet. It's great time that I spend on being creative and doing something musical. It's so much fun and it stimulates your brain in a way better way than social media does. So try playing an instrument, it's really cool. Number 5 on my list is doodling or painting. Not everybody is artistic, and I get that, but you don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. So if you have a piece of paper, if you have a pen, you can be creative and you can start just doodling little things on it. Things you see, things are in your mind. Just get something on paper. Also, I started doing this last year and it was so cool. I got a paint by number kit for my birthday or Christmas, but I just had that in my room laying around for so long. And I love painting, but I always feel like it's such a hassle to set up my easel, to get the paintbrush out, to get all the paint, and just cleaning it up afterwards. It kind of sucks and it's so time consuming. But having a paint by number kit for adults, by the way, I loved doing these as a child, but now I had one for adults, which was obviously bigger and harder, but so much fun. And I just could pick out one number and fill out those like spaces in the painting with that color and do that for a little while and then close it up again, move it away, and another day I could continue. So doing something like that, I think it's really cool. It's a good way for your mind to slow down but also to focus on something, and it's really easy. Everybody can do it. Number 6 is go outside, go on a walk, go out into nature. You are literally part of nature. You're not a part of technology or an extension of your phone. Your phone is also not an extension of you. You're part of nature. You should reconnect to that. Go on a walk, even if you just go outside and go people watching, be present out there. It's sometimes hard for me to go outside and have nothing with me, like no electronic devices, because I get overwhelmed by my thoughts a lot, and I think a lot of people do, because we rarely have time where they can flow naturally. And so when there is a space in the day where our brain is not stimulated by anything, the thoughts come rushing in. And I do most of the time take my headphones with me and listen to some music, but going outside and just looking at everything that's passing you by and looking at everything that's surrounding you makes you feel more present and in the moment, and being outside in nature is so good for your mind, for your body, for everything. So please go outside. I know it's winter right now, or at least where I live, which is not always the best time to go outside because it's just cold and uncomfortable, but there's beauty in that too. I just go on a long walk with my dog every day and go outside like that, and then when I come inside, it's even better to warm up in the warmth of your home. And going outside is great no matter what. You don't have to spend hours outside, even just doing a little bit of time in the fresh air does wonders. Number 7 on my list is make something with your hands. I love crocheting, and I also love, even though I don't love the mess of it, doing clay projects because it's so fun. As a child, we spend so much time playing with our hands and making stuff with our hands, and as an adult, we usually don't ever do that. So do it. It's really good for you. It's stimulating, it's fun, it's crafty. You can be creative, you can do literally anything you want. I've been making a lot of magnets. I know my friends like to do that as well. You can make a mug with clay. Crocheting, for some people, is a little harder. I love doing that. I love making my own clothes. I love gifting people things that I make myself, and just being creative with your hands. It's so cool. You can look it up anywhere. There are so many things you can do. There's so much inspiration anywhere. You can look it up on Pinterest, Google it. Don't look on social media. Also, don't use ChatGPT, please. This is not welcome here. You can go to your local craft store and pick out a craft project, or ask someone what's good for beginners if you're a beginner. Actually, just talk to people. It's not a crazy concept. I'm sorry. Number 8 on my list, which is kind of scary that this is so low, but I don't know, it just happened like that, is read. I love reading so much. Even though 2025 was not the best reading year for me, I still felt like I read a lot, and I think I read more intentionally or more in general because I wasn't on social media. So if you have a break of 15 minutes in your home before you have to go somewhere, don't sit on your phone scrolling. Pick up a book and read it. Reading is so beneficial for your brain, and I think more people need to relearn how to do it. And there's literally something for everybody. There's self-help books, cookbooks you could read. I don't know if anybody reads cookbooks for pleasure and not for cooking, but I guess you could. You can read magazines there's literally a magazine for every topic that you want to read. Also, if you don't have physical books, Substack is a great place to read, and there's so many creative people writing on there and also writing knowledgeable articles. Then there are so many fiction books that you could read. There's a genre and a book for everyone, I believe, and you just need to find the right one. So if you want recommendations, hit me up. I read a lot. Okay, number 9 is scrapbooking, or printing out digital photos and then glue them in a photo book. I think we need to bring that back because we all have so much footage of our lives in our virtual storage and virtual cloud, and sometimes people look through that, and I love editing all of my videos that I record throughout my months and years together so that I can look at them. But then again, I don't look at my photos that often, and I love looking through old photo albums with my parents or grandparents, and I really want to do that even more this year. Last year, I started printing out all my photos, and I want to do a 2025 scrapbook. I only have done January so far, which means I have 11 months left, which is a lot of work, but I think it'll be absolutely worth it, and it's so fun. You can glue in photos and also physical mementos that you have, tickets to movie showings or anything like that, and you can have a physical book of your life and special moments and just look through that whenever you want, and then such a cool way of remembering what things you did. Another thing that I wrote down is play with animals. Interaction with animals is great. I think it's really fun. I love playing with my cats. I love going outside with my dog. I know not everybody has an animal. I live on a farm, so I have a lot of them. But you can even just hang out with a friend that has an animal and do something with their animal, or you can volunteer at a shelter. There are so many animals, dogs, cats, that need someone to play with, and there are so many shelters that need people to help out. And even if it's just going on a walk or going there for half an hour and interacting with them, it does wonders for them, and it also will do wonders for you. I know that's like a bigger hurdle to get over, and that also means like asking at a shelter if you could come, but I promise it'll be worth it. I actually have not done that, gone to a shelter, because I have just so many animals here at home to take care of. But I've talked and like listened to a lot of people that have done that, so I think it's really such a great idea. Number 11 on my list is cook or bake, which I think I've gotten into even more last year. I still live at home, so I actually don't have to cook every day because my family also like cooks a lot and we love doing that. But I've enjoyed cooking for myself so much because it shows that I love myself and that I want to take care of myself. And that has been such a special form of giving myself love and also trying out new things, because food is also kind of an art form and a craft. You can try anything, you can look up recipes and then put your own twist on it, and you have such delicious food and baked goods that you can consume after it, so it's a win-win for everybody. Number 12 is moving your body, which is an important thing in general, but I think a lot of the time when I'm tired or when I've had a long day, I used to sit on my phone. I sometimes still struggle with just watching a YouTube video or laying down and reading, which is a good thing. You need to rest, but also moving your body is so important, and it sometimes gives you energy, even though it might feel like you're like quote unquote spending energy, which you can never spend energy, really. It just transforms. But still, moving your body, sometimes hard, always worth it. And you need to do that in a way that is fun for you. For such a long time, I believed physical movement and like sports or moving your body of any kind other than honestly dance and yoga, because that was the only two things that I really enjoyed. Everything else was just not for me and not fun, and I just had to find a way to force myself to do it, which is not true. In the last year, I've found so many different ways of physical movement and like workouts that are fun to me and that work for my body and that I look forward to. And now moving my body it has always been a good thing for me, but now it's even a really good thing for me that I want to do. So find workouts and find ways to move your body that are fun for you. That really just helps overall with everything. Number 13 on my list is meditate, which I think people are torn on this topic. I think some people know that it's good for them, but still don't do it because it's time consuming and it's kind of difficult at first. And so many people don't believe in that. And I think meditation looks different for everybody. I think some people like me can actually sit still and just do a meditation, or I most of the time do guided meditations because I just find them so much better for calming my mind and easier for me to do. But there are also a lot of people that I think have different ways of meditating. My sibling, for example, loves shuffling tarot cards, and that's a way of meditating. So meditation is not only sitting in a silent room and not doing anything. Meditation can look very different for everybody, and I'm not an expert on that, so you might have to do your own research for that. But try something. Try a guided meditation, even if it's just 5 minutes, and even 5 minutes in the morning of doing that can work wonders. Or honestly, you don't even have to look up a meditation. You can set a timer and try being silent for 5 minutes. And meditation is also not just not thinking anything, but if thoughts come up, letting them pass and not dwelling on them. I've also found that a form of meditation for me in the morning can be EFT tapping, which is tapping certain spots on your body that will calm your vagus nerve, which is really great for stimulating your nervous system and like calming it down. Or just saying affirmations to yourself. There are lots of different ways, so maybe look into that because meditation is actually so helpful for you. And I also do need to do that more often because there's just certain times where I feel like the timing's right and I'm going to do it and I feel like a changed woman. And there are times that I don't do it for weeks. And then I get to a certain point where I do meditation. I'm like, oh, this is so good for you. I need to do this more often. So I want to come into the habit of that more. Number 14 is sleep. Because I think so many people are on social media for so long into the night instead of sleeping, and I'm guilty of that myself because now I just sometimes sit too long on YouTube or watch too many episodes of a TV show. But sleep is something that you really should prioritize because it's affecting every single ounce and part of your life, and social media is not that important. If you scroll on social media into the dark of the night and then the next day you're tired, it's done nothing for you. But if you go to bed a little bit earlier and you wake up a little more fresh and energized, that's amazing. That just sounded so like trivial and duh, but sometimes it's good to hear it. Okay, number 15 is play games. I say bring back board games. I love them. My family has always been such a big board and card games family, and I love doing that, especially also with my grandma because she's always like a little bit confused by them and she says, oh, I'm not good at it, but then in the end she most of the time wins and she's good at that. And I think it's such a fun way of interacting with people and having playtime as an adult. And I'm growing my game collection. I think there are also so many cool question games like We're Not Really Strangers. I honestly don't have that many more examples. But just playing a game like that with your friends, with yourself, with family, it's cool. It's really, really cool. And there are so many different games for every single person, every single type of interaction. So you'll find something. Also, there are so many cool cold cases. That is a fun activity for a night, not being on your phone. Solving an imaginary cold case. That sounds so nerdy, but I've done it multiple times and I've always had an amazing time and I remember it. And the person that I've done it with or the group, they remember it as well, and it's such a fun memory and such a cool thing to do. Okay, number 16 is sing karaoke / dance / listen to music. For me, most of the time, that happens at once. I love having a little dance party by myself or sometimes with friends and just turning up music, listening to that music, dancing to that music, singing along. It's such a fun way to release energy in your body, to have fun, to be musical, to scream along to your favorite songs. That's why I love going to concerts so much. It's such a cool experience, but you can have a little living room concert for yourself, dance along. It's amazing. Okay, now 17, which is what you're doing right now. Listen to a podcast. I love podcasts so much, obviously, because I started my own. But there are podcasts for everyone. You can have an educational podcast, you can have a fun podcast, you can have like a therapy podcast. I listen to very different kinds of podcasts depending on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I want to learn something new, sometimes I just want to listen to funny stories that listeners send in. But podcasts are great. It's sometimes difficult to just listen to a podcast because then I feel like I need to do something with my hands, and you should, like, this is the list of things to do and not go on social media, so don't listen to a podcast and scroll. But you could paint, you can combine a few things on this list, you can clean, anything, go on a walk. But listening to podcasts, just, it's great. I love it. You know what to do with it. On my list is watch movies. I love movies so much. I've always loved movies, and I've loved being on Letterboxd last year. I have known that app exists for a long time, and also I have not used it properly at all. I'm trying to log every movie. Oh, that reminds me, I watched a movie yesterday. I need to log that. But The thing about Letterboxd that I love is seeing so many people watch movies, because I feel like when I don't see that, I feel like movies are a dying art form, which I know is not true. Hollywood and that like whole entertainment industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, but still I feel like not that many people enjoy watching a movie and having their whole attention on that. A lot of the time, and I've been guilty of that too, your mind needs even more, and then you watch a movie and are on your phone and are scrolling on social media. So that's not great. I want you to watch a movie with your whole attention on that screen. And it's still a screen, but it's long form content, which is so much better for our brains. And it's so cool to dive into a story and to get to know these characters and live through that whole thing with them, and seeing such a cool progression throughout the film, seeing how it's artistically made, and having that journey and release of emotions, and maybe coming out a little changed after that experience. So please just go watch some movies. I have great recommendations again if somebody wants to know. I love my taste in movies, even though it's not everyone's taste. But again, there are movies for everyone. And even if you're a little clueless what you want to watch, there are obviously movies that are being released right now, but I think a great thing is always to go back to your old childhood favorites and rewatch them, especially if you haven't watched them in a while. That's such a cool experience. Okay, number 19, which I've actually not done that often, but I really want to do that, is listen to a TED Talk or watch a TED Talk, because that's such a cool institution. Like, what do you mean? People are invited to speak, and they are motivational speakers, or like amateurs that are giving a motivational speak about a certain topic that they know a lot about or that they've experienced, and they want to tell you about this thing and are really passionate about that, and you can just listen to that and get inspired and motivated. That's so cool. I have so many TED Talks saved that I want to watch, and I want this year to be the year that I actually do watch them. I think I sometimes struggle with doing that because I have so many thoughts in my mind all the time that it's sometimes hard to listen to a 15-minute TED Talk where they have compromised all their important thoughts into those minutes. And I feel a lot of pressure maybe listening to TED Talks, because I feel like it needs to be a life-changing experience. But let's get rid of that pressure and just enjoy it. So I think watching TED Talks, listening to TED Talks is a great thing to do. Even if it's just a voice memo from your friend, honestly, because me and my friends always or sometimes sign off our long voice memos with, "Thanks for coming to my TED Talk." But don't stop. No, the podcast is not over, so keep on listening, please. Okay, we're at number 20 now, which is try hobbies. I think this has like encapsulated the whole list and my whole experience of quitting social media and filling that time with other things. But it can look different for everyone. For me, it's been painting more, dancing more, being more crafty, trying out different hobbies like playing the piano, or I have so many hobbies that I would like to give a try, and I know a lot of them I haven't tried because I'm scared of it. I'm scared of looking like a fool because I'm not going to be good at it. But get over that fear, because it's only holding you back, and you're gonna have so much fun trying out different hobbies, even if you're not good at them. Like, even if you do them and you're thinking, wow, this was terrible, I'm never going to do that again. You know that. You've done that. You've gained that experience. Maybe you even had a little bit of fun, and next time you can try a hobby that maybe you're gonna love and want to do for the rest of your life. So make a list of things you've always wanted to try and just do them. It's great. Okay, number 21 is going on solo dates and getting to know yourself. This has always been one of the biggest things for me. I love doing this so much, and I think everybody needs to do that. Spending time with yourself can be weird at first. It's the best thing you can do in the long run, because you are the only person you are going to spend the rest of your life with. And that's sometimes a hard pill to swallow. And sometimes it can be difficult to spend time with yourself because you are always with yourself. But actually, most of the time, it's not spending intentional quality time with yourself. Just like in a long-term relationship, sometimes we drift into patterns where you don't actively spend time and intentionally spend time getting to know that person anymore. That's the same with yourself. You're so used to being around yourself, sometimes you don't appreciate your amazing qualities, because I'm pretty sure you're actually a very cool human being with so many cool traits and a good sense of humor. And you should get to know that and appreciate that yourself so that other people can be more appreciative of that. And you will like know if somebody's not appreciating you and get rid of them, because life's too short to spend it with crappy people. So spend it with yourself. No, but actually, do something that you like. Do an intentional solo date and get to know yourself better. It's so cool and so worth it. Number 22 is family time, which for me is kind of a given because I love spending time with my family. Sometimes it can get overwhelming, especially because but I also live with my family. But then again, it is so good to have that time, especially with older relatives, because one day, as I've said already, you're not going to remember what you saw on social media, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, but you're going to remember spending time with your grandma, getting to hear stories of different family members before you were alive or when you were a child. It's so cool to listen to that and to experience that and to get to know your family even more. So please do that. Number 23 is explore/travel. I think you can do this anywhere, anytime. You can do this if you have a few hours off. Explore around your house, take a walk, notice things you wouldn't normally. Go spend a day as a tourist in the area that you live, or actually go on a trip, travel. I know not spending time on social media doesn't equal having more time and finances to travel, but maybe you could research a place you really want to go to and make a plan of how you're going to go there. And I don't know, I just love traveling and I want to do more of that. And I thought, why not put it on the list? Number 24, also probably not for everyone, but garden. I think I love gardening. I love going into our garden on the farm and harvesting things that grow there. I love learning more about that. I have a whole Pinterest board dedicated to it. I love having plants in my room and learning how I'm gonna treat them and how to take better care of them. So I think getting a plant or maybe learning more about that, or even just thinking, what's my favorite fruit? What's my favorite vegetable? How does that actually grow? Learning about that, so maybe someday, if you really want that, you could have a garden and grow that by yourself. Number 25 is breathe, which sounds really trivial, but a lot of the time, I think I reached for social media in moments I wanted to escape. I was either standing, in line at the grocery store, and I was getting overwhelmed by the people, by the place, by the sounds, so I opened Instagram, and that was my little window of escaping my current reality, and so many other different moments that I think were ways of me escaping from reality by clicking on social media. But actually taking the time to breathe in that moment will do wonders. If you're feeling stressed, or if you're standing in line at the grocery store, you're feeling overwhelmed, take a moment, close your eyes, and take deep breaths or do a breathing exercise. Focus on the things you hear, you smell, you see, you breathe, and you're present in the moment again, and your body calms down, and you don't feel the need to escape to social media anymore. I think that's really one of the best tips that I can give, or that I've done when feeling the need to click on social media. Take a breath, take a moment. Maybe the urge will go away and you will have so much more time and fun to do something in the real world. And that concludes my list with number 26, which is exist, start living again, have fun. I don't even know if I need to say anything more to that. I think I've made my experience and my thoughts pretty clear. I know social media is a place that people love sometimes, and a place that people love to hate. So if you feel like deleting social media is a step too far, don't do it. But maybe just do some things instead. Don't spend all your free time on there. Go get a hobby. Do some of these things. enjoy spending time with yourself and present life again. I promise it's going to be so worth it. It feels amazing to be present and live your life and have fun. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you maybe got some inspiration out of this. I hope you have a great week. I don't really know when I'm going to talk to you next, but I hope it's going to be soon. I hope you're listening. That was Romanticizing with Rosa-Marie. I hope you have a good day. Romanticize your life without social media. Bye!